Alright, so for this video I wanted to talk about the Kansas Earned Income Tax Credit. So the federal Earned Income Tax Credit, very popular tax credit, it's computed and reported on your Form 1040 every year. And this is a credit that's generally available to individuals that are low or medium income and have qualifying children. There are also eligibility requirements for individuals that do not have any qualifying children, but your income has to be much lower. So in our example here, we're going to look at the calculation for John Q. taxpayer. So he's a single filing taxpayer, lives full-time in the state of Kansas, and Kansas provides their own version of the Earned Income Tax Credit, which is calculated as a percentage of the federal. So the starting point here is always to compute, well, what is your federal Earned Income Tax Credit? And then you generally move on to the state to compute the state portion. So we have John Q. taxpayer, single filer, no dependents, so no qualifying children. But given that his earned income of $18,000 is quite low, he falls below that threshold to where he can qualify and claim the EITC even though he has no qualifying children. So John, when he's preparing his 1040, should compute the Earned Income Credit Worksheet, right? And so he's starting with his earned income of $18,000. And if we look at the EIC tables, if you look up $18,000 for an individual with no qualifying children, the amount of the federal Earned Income Credit for 2021 at least is going to be $521. Now, very important to look at the EIC tables for the year you were doing the return because they do change. So once he has his 521, he can report that on page 2 up here, line 27A, we have the Earned Income Credit, right? So EIC, line 27A for $521. Now that he has his federal done, he can move on to his resident state return. So again, he's a full-time resident of Kansas. And again, Kansas provides a credit which is 17% of the federal amount. So on John's Kansas individual income tax return, the amount of credit is ultimately going to be reported here on line 17, right? We can see the line 17 Earned Income Tax Credit. But you should include a worksheet to help compute how you calculate the credit, right? So we can see here we have a Kansas EITC worksheet for John. His federal amount, again, is $521. And then just do some simple math here. We have 17% times 521 is going to be $89. All right, now the additional test here is to make sure that you do have sufficient tax, right? So John does have a tax liability in Kansas for state income tax purposes, so he can offset that liability with the amount of his Kansas EITC. So the $89 is then reported up here on line 17, and so that comes off the top of his taxes owed, $380. Now his new tax balance owed after the credits is going to be $291. Okay, so the credit computation is pretty straightforward, as you can see. It's just very important that if you are a resident of a state that has a state income tax, carefully check what credits you have available within the state, because a lot of people miss this. They forget that the state they live in might have their own version of the Earned Income Credit. So you should be computing the federal EITC and then make sure you're computing your state EITC as well. All right, so that covers it for this video. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next video. Thank you.